Hello and welcome back to another fabulous weekend movie praise. Sorry, it's been a long time
since we've done a thing now.
It seems like, and I just really want to scream. You're welcome. No one's here to listen to that, but I'm gonna give it every single time because it's what you want. I'm of course Jacob. I am a dude, and you are.
I'm Ray, and I'm also a dude.
That's good to know. Sometimes you never know. Kathleen. Okay. So, with that being said, what do you want to talk about first, Zachary? We have a whole list of things.
We really, really do. Do you want to talk about what is currently going on in the world, which is just delay. Plus, some trailers got released this week as well for projects that we don't know if they're being delayed or not. So I forgot you're currently eating cheese dogs. I wasn't expecting you to just give it right to me. The Comic-Con at Home, the first trailer from Comic-Con at Home dropped over the week, which was New Mutants. I have to say,
it's not the full trailer. We're supposed to get a full trailer at Comic-Con at Home this weekend.
Yeah, it's this weekend. And I'm gonna say I liked it, but that last joke at the end kind of ruined it for me.
Not ruined the whole movie, just ruined the trailer.
It ruined the trailer because it was so cool up to that point because magic looked awesome. The demon bear looked really cool. All the effects looked like they're putting effort into this. This is the Marvel's version of a Snyder Cut because it hasn't been released yet. So going on from a film that got a new trailer to a film that got delayed indefinitely, poor Tenet.
But honestly, isn't it kind of funny though?
What do you mean?
I find it hilarious that it got
an
indefinite delay on it, just because of one reason. He's been pushing this so hard. Be like, no, those people can die. They can go see my movie and die. And now it's like, no, honey, no, we're not doing this.
Nah, and so I read up a little bit on the Variety article about it and how they're planning on doing the release with Warner Brothers. And I'm not gonna lie to you, their releasing idea is kind of dumb.
Yeah, I don't like the whole not releasing it day by day global. I can understand we're living in a different world, so it might have to be the way we go. But it's not my favorite.
But so here's my thing: we live in a movie society where everybody freaks out about the word spoiler, and especially with Warner Brothers films for the rest of the year, specifically 84 and Tenet. If people get these films early, they can talk about them if they want. That's completely up to them. But they also have the right to, if they want to, be dicks and spoil the film for us to have to wait an X amount of months afterwards. And so
piracy and all
it's going to be a huge thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, we just got our first teaser image for Godzilla vs. Kong, and I think Godzilla vs. Kong made a really good move. I think Fast 9 set a precedent for films for this year, which is if you don't want to get spoiled and you want to do a right call for your film, just move to next year. You're better off doing it. Well, now what?
Sorry. Or you can just have one of your castmates come on and say, we're going to space.
Yeah, that too.
Ludicrous. We don't say these things.
His name says it all. Yeah, that image is sick, isn't it?
Oh my, I gotta share this with the screen. Sorry for taking your thunder, but they deserve it.
This looks so cool.
I want this now.
I know.
Now.
It looks so cool. You know how we got this image?
It tested so well with audiences too.
It just perfectly personifies the film, which is just two behemoths of creatures going at it. It looks so good.
Look how beautiful that looks. This has nothing to do with anything we're talking about. It did get delayed for good purposes.
Yes.
And which we always thought it was very shocking that it got delayed because it tested so well and the CGI and the VFX were not even done with the movie and it still tested that well.
Look at that.
Looking at that, it's like, how could that not test well?
That looks, even at the film, much like Godzilla King of the Monsters, where the human part of the story was just okay, if the monster part of it is like that, I'm content.
Hey, Zachary, Hey, Zachary, do you want to say the word with me as I say it when we can scream?
Oh, yeah.
3,
3, 2, 1.
IMAX.
IMAX.
Yes.
These films deserve it more than anything that comes out in theaters now are these MonsterVerse films, just because of the sheer scope and scale of what they're doing here. I mean, look at that. But I have one thing. I have one thing about the picture. One thing. Now, this also could be just because either he's leaping at him or whatnot. Isn't Kong supposed to be slightly smaller?
I think he's leaping at him. Look at his foot and things and the way he's charging. It looks like a leap. That doesn't look like he's on the ground.
But they're on a helicarrier, though.
Yeah, but also like that helicarrier, he has to be inside that helicarrier, and so Kong is on top of it because he has to be heavier.
Yeah, he has to be heavier. So my prediction with this scene, I mean, it's just an image, but I believe that this
Concept art.
Concept art at best. This is the ship bringing Kong from Skull Island to fight Godzilla, and Kong is underneath, like it's a giant helicarrier with the bottom half done, and Godzilla runs into it, leaps up, rips it open, brings out Kong, and that's where we have our first fight is on the water between the two of them. And obviously Godzilla is going to win this first fight, because he's an aquatic creature where Kong isn't. That's my prediction with that. It blew my mind when I saw it. I'm like, now that's a good ending film for your trilogy. If they're only doing 3 movies, that's a great way to end your trilogy. I mean, your quadrilogy. Yeah, quadrilogy.
It's a series. 4 and above is a series. 5 and above is a franchise.
I think it's going to be a series. I don't think they're going to do another one after this. Even if this movie
they haven't been doing that well.
No.
Even if this one makes $1 billion, I still don't feel like they're going to make another one. And that image alone looks like it has a possibility of, not now, sadly, 2 years from now, maybe, it had a chance before the pandemic. That image could have made $1 billion at a better release date. Ultimately, November was as terrible a release date as it was.
Yeah.
So March is a much better release date, which is where they end up sticking it. And ultimately, I think it would have done better business there anyways, just hoping the world is a lot more open by that point.
Well, I mean, if we're looking at recent reports, it looks like theaters might not open until mid-August of 2021.
Well, no, I don't. Definitely it's going to be before that. I have a very strong feeling. I do have a strong feeling, though, and which really sucks, is that we might not get a movie until January.
Yeah.
And I think Universal was the first one to jump to 2022. Then Sony took place, these type of things. I think that was the smarter way to go, to put out these smaller movies on PVOD so you can still have income coming in. Because you look at any of the lists, any of the things, iTunes, Apple, that's the same thing. Anything like that of where they're putting out content for us to buy, Universal is always number in the top 10. There's always 3 or 4 films that they have put out that you had to pay $20+ for, or now, cheaper, but still it's expensive. And you're continuing to do that week by week, day by day to keep them up there in the top 10. I mean, I think it was a interesting choice when they did it, but ultimately I think as we go further and further, it is paying out. HBO Max did not do that well.
No.
They would have probably worked out better releasing PVOD movies. Like, I mean, you don't even have to put out the biggest movie you have on your slate. You can go through.
Well,
everybody has the smaller ones that don't deserve the theater experience.
Well, Warner Brothers put out Scooby-Doo, and it didn't do well for them.
Yeah, that is true. We never actually got numbers, so we don't really know if it did bad. We just never were told if it did bad or good. But also, interestingly enough, Trolls was received better than Scoob. Which I think played a factor, is that the first movie that gets released has a 78% on Rotten Tomatoes. That right there is going to make people like, oh, okay, I should watch that, because
whereas Scoob has like what?
It was like a 50-something. It was not a fresh tomato. So I think that plays a factor, in the whole.
But back to the delaying thing.
Yeah,
there are 3 films that we need to discuss: Tenet, Mulan,
totally,
and Wonder Woman now.
No, I think Wonder Woman's still fine for a little bit. We'll have to wait and see.
The reason I say that is because we're not even near August yet, and Tenet had an August 12th release. And
which means they could push it back to November, which was the original plan, and give Tenet the October release date. Still a possibility. It's not a great one for Wonder Woman, but I still think it's a possibility. They still are going to put Wonder Woman in theaters. We might have to be waiting a year.
I don't know. I don't. If Tenet doesn't make release schedule at all for the year and it gets pushed to next year, I think Wonder Woman gets POVD because we're going to need something with a revenue jump. And Wonder Woman,
they're not going to. They'll find something else. They'll find something else, I agree.
And now, unfortunately, the elephant in the room, which is Mulan. Mulan just needs to get released on VOD. It really does, because at this point they are poking at a dead, no pun intended, horse. It just they need to just realize that it's not going to make the money they need, and just move on from it.
Now, interestingly enough, something we can segue into and segue back from is the fact that China is slowly reopening their theaters. This is the fourth time they've done this since the pandemic has hit. This is the best time it happened so far. Actually, it's not even on my list because I forgot about it. We were going to talk about a movie that made $20 million last weekend. Yes, it happened. It was amazing because of China. The sequel to Train to Busan came out over the weekend, and it made $20 million in the few theaters that they had open. People still want to go see movies and things. And so I think if they can get it to release in China, which is the whole point of this whole delay, the whole reason why we don't have it on PVOD is because of China. If they can get it to release over there, I think it's a much better chance of them releasing it over here PVOD. Because we see that all the time where movies get released overseas, but then they get a direct-to-video release date over here in the U.S., sometimes it's because they don't have a great distributor or whatever it might be. I think that's the perfect workaround, is that they get the money they want or they think they deserve in China because they're slowly opening. Has a much faster date over there. We're seeing it with Tenet, of where they're thinking about releasing it early, so people over in China probably can go see it, before us Americans, because it's logical. After We Collided, which is a very small movie for Universal, has almost every date but America on their release schedule. I care about that movie, but a lot of people don't. But you know what I mean? I'm just using it as an example because it just got its release dates announced. U.S. is nowhere to be seen, but everywhere else is, because we're doing the worst right now in the pandemic. We are like Italy.
Love you.
And so circling back around to Mulan, I think releasing it on PVOD, but also getting it that China released it makes that sense. In my personal opinion.
No, that makes sense. I'm really sad at looking at that movie now because it's been through so much to this point, and I don't want it to get released in theaters and not do well for Disney because it was their own fault for doing it. And if the movie is good, then they put a very good film out to just die, and it's not fair to the film.
But also, ultimately, we've had this conversation over and over again since Mulan got delayed and things, is that I still don't believe it would have done well over here. I don't think it was made for us. I think the trailers were fine. We've talked about this. There was online chatter, at least for us in particular. Every trailer did very well, and you best believe we're going to be covering the movie when it does come out, in a review, or if it comes out on PVOD, we'll do a movie reaction to it, movie commentary to it, react with you guys to the movie, however it happens. But I don't think it would have done very well over here, and I think that right there plays a huge factor of why I don't think it would matter. Now, who knows? It is Disney, and people are itching for new content. I think people would go see it. It's a different standard now, though, because I think everybody just wants to go back to the movies. Everybody I'm talking to and things, everybody just is ready to go back and experience something. I know I was having dreams about last night. So now the third film in this situation apparently is No Time to Die, because it got delayed in November now, apparently. It got pushed back up to their original release date.
So it's now coming out in April of next year?
No. It got in November. It originally went back because we're doing so well, society-wise. And now they don't believe we're going to be able to release that release date, but they're not ready to move it from November just in case. Because MGM has so much writing on it that they moved it to the week it was supposed to come out in November, the original release date.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep, that's all they did. They moved it like a week or 2 weeks or something like that.
So I want to bring up Grace real quick. Nothing we talked about, but going on with this. I watched a reaction to the New Mutants trailer, and this would be really dope if they did this. What if at Comic-Con Home this weekend they released the trailer, and at the end of the trailer it says you can watch it now?
I'll link that video down below to make sure we have credit to where credit is due, because she is the first one to come up with this, and she definitely, I really hope that's the case. I think that'd be really cool.
But it gives you the option, like if you like, do you want it to say stream now on Disney Plus or stream now POVD?
Stream now on Disney Plus, because I think that's the only way they're probably getting around the Fox acquisition, which is why they're having to put it out in theaters.
I think we're slowly getting to that point now, because if you look at Disney Plus, they just put it on there today. We now have 2 X-Men movies on there. We have Days of Future Past. We have Apocalypse. So I feel like they're ramping it up to inevitably put New Mutants on there, which would be really, really cool. Now, what's the rating of New Mutants? Do we know?
13. I can actually even tell you why if you give me one more second. I just have to type it in. And I can tell you.
It's gonna feel weird with having all the X-Men films on Disney Plus and not having 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
You know which ones I'm talking about?
Logan, Deadpool 2.
Deadpool
2
got, yeah, because Deadpool 2 technically got a shot to be on there because they have the PG-13 version.
No, it's true. They can release it during Christmas. All right,
Which
so it's PG-13 for violent content, some disturbing bloody images, some strong language, thematic elements, and suggestive material.
So it's a teen angst film. Ooh.
That looks pretty good. I'm not going to lie. I think it's going to be really enjoyable to watch.
Yes.
And am I going to say it's a great movie? Debatable.
Yeah.
But it's going to be fun to watch, and ultimately that's what my rating's going to be based on, not so much the movie itself. I want Fox to go out with a fun time. They tried that with Dark Phoenix, and they failed.
Yes, they did.
And I would say Dark Phoenix is a much more sophisticated and complex film. And they tried the story route, which is what Dark Phoenix is. No one liked it. And so I think going out with a much more funner, like action-packed, lots of cool magic and stuff on the screen,
but
I think will be much better.
Here's the problem, though. If they went out with Dark Phoenix, they would have no problems because the continuity would be done. And we've seen these characters' final film. What if New Mutants does very well for them? Everybody wants to see these characters come back. Then they're in a real situation.
I think the only person that I can honestly see come back truly into it, just based off the trailer performances alone, that's Anya Taylor-Joy for
Magic.
Just because I think out of everybody, she has the most spectacular powers and stuff that we have seen and things. And I think that's probably the only one that I could see, which sucks because I love Maisie Williams, but I just don't. She hasn't popped. We'll see what actual Wolfsbane looks like on screen when she turns into the wolf, since that's not been something we have fully seen yet. We've seen full magic, so like we know what we're getting for her.
Yeah.
But and so I'm very curious to see what the whole entire the full power effects look like, which we won't know until we see the movie. We also don't have a runtime. You would think we would have a runtime by now.
You want to make a prediction?
It's probably like an hour and 40 minutes.
90 on the dot.
No, it's gonna be longer than 90 because it's a superhero movie, but it's gonna be closer to 90 because it's a superhero horror movie. And I can promise you, I've seen 3-hour-long horror movies. Some of them are good. Some of them are. They don't need to be there.
Some of them are It Chapter 2.
No, I actually liked It Chapter 2. Thank you very much. That
minus the turtle.
Minus the turtle. That should be a commentary.
No.
There we go.
No.
We'll make it happen in September. Don't you worry. August is planned out. We don't have room there. But September, we have room.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. So, that's great. Listen, do you want a commentary of you just talking to yourself to me like this?
Honestly, yeah, I think we all want that. So, it's fine. All right, let's move on. We've been on this thing for... Oh, actually, we can't move on because Zachary's just focusing on the movies, where I think personally he should be focusing on the bigger things happening right now. And that is the fact, not that they're confirmed, but they've been talked about in several articles. Falcon and Winter Soldier, WandaVision, basically anything for Disney Plus except for Mandalorian. But there is a rumor floating around the interwebs that Mandalorian is going to be moved because they're going to put Falcon and Winter Soldier where the Mandalorian is supposed to be. But there's also rumors that during the NBA and stuff like that, that they're going to announce that no, it's live. You guys can go watch it, or the release date for August. Like, don't listen to trades all the time because they sometimes lie. I understand why they move WandaVision if they end up moving WandaVision. But then again, yeah, because of like Doctor Strange.
There's no other reason or purpose for it. They moved it for that reason.
An article just like 2 hours later, after an article said, "Oh, it's been moved to spring of 2021," says no, it's going to come out in December like originally planned. So I genuinely don't know.
The first article when they talked about it made more sense. It coincides with Doctor Strange. It makes sense because Doctor Strange got moved to the spring of 2021. So that makes sense. I was doing such a good job of keeping away from this conversation because I didn't want to talk about it. Because I'm tired of talking about Disney Plus delays, specifically the Marvel stuff. We haven't seen trailers for any of them except the GameSpot from Super Bowl in February.
I do believe they're coming with the NBA. Just like I think that's where they're going to start Black Widow.
To me, the only concrete stuff I've known for about any of this is that we knew that August was the kind of runaround month for Falcon. December was the kind of month we were thinking for WandaVision, and we had no release month for Loki. And we got the GameSpot, and I was still really pumped. I'm not upset about all these delays and shit with the Marvel stuff because we have not had a release date or month set for any of it. So therefore, they can put it wherever they want. They still got me as a full year subscription person every month. However, I'll be sorely pissed at Marvel if they push Mandalorian, which is done. I think of the two, Mandalorian deserves more to be released over Falcon Winter Soldier because we're not even done shooting it yet.
Yeah, but they're going to want Falcon Winter Soldier because it's new. Mandalorian is season 2.
Ahsoka, Rex are enough to say it's
I know, new. But I can understand why they would. I can see it.
Do you think that's why I announced Bad Batch? To ease the shock of Mandalorian being pushed?
But I don't, once again, none of this stuff has been confirmed by Kevin Feige. And I don't believe it until Kevin Feige tells me. So, honestly, I'm not real sure what's going on. I just figured I would like to touch on it because it was big news.
I don't think any of the Marvel Disney Plus stuff is news until we have release dates, and then they get moved from those release dates. That's when I feel like it's going to be news. Because right now they're just moving them to wherever they want to put them without giving us a release month.
But you understand what I mean.
No, I understand what you're saying, but I think it's a smart move, to move WandaVision this spring to coincide with Doctor Strange. Honestly, if they're going to release Falcon Winter Soldier this year, it makes sense that they move Mandalorian because Falcon Winter Soldier come out in October, Black Widow come out in November. So technically, it'd be right back on their schedule for the MCU. It would make sense, and it just move forward. Does that suck for me as a Mandalorian fan? Absolutely. But
Mandalorian probably would only get moved to probably around the same time it got released for its first season.
Which is November.
Yeah, sometime in
November. It'll be a month switch. Yeah. However, I don't think there's nothing Star Wars coming out in December now. They could technically put Mandalorian in December.
Yeah, I was thinking that as well. Maybe they would wait 2 months and put where it was originally WandaVision was originally going to come out, put the second season of Mandalorian. I still feel bad for the service ultimately, though, just because of the fact they have nothing new, and I don't ever touch it very often. We touch it when we watch movies, or if I want to watch something like that again. But ultimately,
they have the only one I've been coming out in August now, which is a big, it's a big release to them. I think personally,
totally forgot about that coming out. Yeah,
I don't know. It's just, and then Peacock happened. Apparently, just Peacock happened and went because no one's talking about it.
Well, here's the thing with Peacock, and honestly, we have Peacock. So hold on, let's see here. I'm just gonna put.
I didn't know we had it.
This is how blunt I'm going to be. Peacock. For anybody who's curious what we're talking about, just Peacock.
We're not talking about the animal.
Or the song by Katy Perry.
No,
Peacock. Peacock.
Jacob, just bring it up. Copyright.
All right. Okay, so basically what we're going to talk about here today is that there was a new service by NBC. It's the final one. They're all out. You can pick and choose which ones you like.
Crazy.
And honestly, I think after about a month or so, after Peacock's been out, HBO Max and everything, I do think we should do a review and figure out which ones are worth the money because we're paying for them all. We should probably make adjustments of like what is worth it.
Jacob, that list is never going to change. We know what number one's going to be. They just keep putting out damn good content
like,
every month.
It's going to be Netflix, but like, what's the lower rankings? That's the more the question of like, do we raise Peacock to higher because it is free? Sure, you don't get all the TV shows and stuff on there. Do you have to pay for, the extra, like the originals and stuff? That makes sense. They had to pay to make them. You have to pay to see them. But like everything that's going to be big on Peacock is free for you to watch with commercials. That's a big deal. Commercials, advertising, that makes sense, things like that. And from somebody who has used Peacock, me, with commercials, it's honestly a little bit annoying, but I can it's worth it. I paid the $20 to have all the free content for a year. So we'll have all the free content for a year. Yeah, that's all it was, $20. I want to make sure that's clear. $50 if you want to pay for it like without any, commercials whatsoever for a year. Those prices are completely different now because I was like on sale. Like I pre-ordered it in order to get that type of bundle or whatever. And I enjoy the service. It's not a bad one. Actually, it has one of my favorite interfaces on all of them. Yeah. I think it's the best one done. Well, except Netflix. Netflix has been around for too long for it not to be good. But like, you know what I mean? So yeah.
Content-wise, how are you liking their content?
It's mostly the same with everything else. Nothing new, really. Nothing good. None of the new shows are good.
I mean, they had something big over any other streaming service, and they took them away after a day of having them, which was your Fast and Furious movies.
Oh,
they had Fast and Furious 4 and Tokyo Drift on the service, and then they just poofed after a day.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Well, HBO Max is losing one of their biggest verticals, Harry Potter. All 8 films are leaving.
Why?
At the end of this month or the end of next month.
So stupid. Oi.
All of them are leaving. Yeah.
Oi. HBO Max. We just had this giant discussion about DC. You're Harry Potter, bitches. Don't do that.
Yeah. But with Peacock in general, I think it's free, so I highly recommend everybody go check it out. And in personal, like you're not spending any money on it. It's not like we're telling you to go subscribe for $7.99.
Quick question. Sure. Is SVU under the payment bar, or can you watch SVU for free?
I genuinely don't know if SVU is under the payment bar. That's a good question, to be honest with you, which NBC originals are under the payment value. But I can tell you this much. If you're in the mood to watch some SVU, I can give you the information, and you can watch it for free because we have all 21 seasons. So,
because
in general,
how do you have it free for all 21? How?
I paid for the premium for a year.
Oh, okay.
The $20 was for a year.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what I was trying to explain to you. You were just not. It wasn't really processing, and now it did. So it's fine. So that's Peacock, guys. We're gonna move on. Yeah, it was on sale.
That's stupid. My store was $70.
Now it's like $60 or something like that, and it's $100 for the other one. Honestly, I really got it. It was a good sale. I don't think anybody knew what was going on either. I just happened to be like, oh, when's Peacock come on? They're like, do you want it on sale for 70% off? And I was like, yes, I want it on sale for 70% off. What am I paying for? I don't care. Just charge me.
Now, doesn't The Office leave Netflix this year and go there?
Yeah, December. But that's going to be part of its free content. You don't have to pay premium to get The Office. It's free.
Whoo! That's a way to keep people right there. It's just
it's free, completely free. It's just like if you're signing on to NBC and watching a rerun. But in this case, you can choose the rerun you want to watch.
Man, could you imagine if HBO did that and said, "Look, here's."
Also, Peacock has live television,
which I think is so fucking cool.
For free.
That's so cool.
For free. Now, of course, if you pay for anything else, like on Amazon Prime, every Prime channel has its free television as well. you scroll down to the bottom, you can figure out what other people are watching it on cable. Boy, that's no fun. This is just literal television. It's interesting. It's a fun time. Okay, let's move on. That's Peacock for anybody who's curious. All right, let's move on to the Bad Batch. Zachary, what wants to talk about? I'm going to go. I didn't read anything into it, so just
okay. So they literally came out of nowhere and said we are continuing the Clone Wars, and I'm like, this is awesome. We're going to see what happens. Okay, this is different. I wasn't expecting him to say, hey, look, guys, we're the Bad Batch. I'm like, okay, because I'm going to be frank here. The first 4 episodes of season 7, they're the most memorable part about the first 4 episodes of the season, which, I mean, I grant them the show, but to me, the biggest part for me about this show is that the actor who plays all the clones is not losing his job. He continues to do work now, which I'm very happy about because he's given a voice to this character or characters in general, and it'd be weird if anybody else did it. Number 2, Filoni still got something to do. I was really nervous after Clone Wars was done that he really won't be doing much with Mandalorian and be moving on, and Filoni would just be there. But this also gives me reason that the Clone Wars isn't done. I think that if they're doing the Bad Batch, we're going to be getting side stories now, which brings in my fucking idea still that Filoni should do a Rebels spinoff with Ahsoka and Sabine going after Ezra in the Unforsaken space and looking for him, leading and tying in the Mandalorian. I think they're going to be wasting an opportunity. That's just me. But I am overall very excited to see what this about. Here's my other thing, is that this could easily become a procedural cop/clone show of them looking for a planet, finding the bandit, capturing said bandit, commoderating, adding character, and moving on. That's what the show I'm worried what's going to be. Now, if we get cameos from other characters and they add more to the story, and then for some odd reason we see the Mandalorian freaking character from the show animated with this being post-Return of the Jedi, and we see Mandalorian, I'm like, holy shit. They crossed over the reverse way. Then they'll blow my mind. But as of right now, we just know what it's called. We know what they're about. That's it. I don't know. This wasn't the Star Wars news I was expecting, but I'm intrigued.
So I find to be very interesting. Once again, we are moving forward with this time period between 6 and 7 and the movie. Like, where is this falling on the timeline? It's between 6 and 7. As we know, going forward for all movies going forward, they don't want to go back so far in time like the books and stuff are when it's not looking like Star Wars. We still want it to look like Star Wars, but they don't want to continue where 9 left off because what was that? Like, that was,
Yeah.
It was interesting. Best way to put it. Great movie. Fun movie. Not great movie. It was a fun movie. That's the best way to put that. Like, it was an okay, fun movie. Either way. And so I think going forward, you're going to see all Star Wars content taking place between these 6 and 7 films. There's so many years in between these 2 films that there is a lot to discuss here. That, like, I think, there's plenty of room here. Also, there's plenty of characters we can go off one path with and follow in different directions and things. But I do believe this is where the next trilogy will come in, will be in this pathway because it's enough Star Wars, but we can go to enough different planets that it's not like Star Wars. Does that make sense?
It does, but what saddens me is that it's all leading to possibly the worst part of Disney's era, which is the sequel stuff.
I know, but like, we're just going to forget about that. We're just going to ignore the fact that those are there, and we're just going to focus.
Man. Have you not heard what they're planning on doing with that? Jacob, you want to hear fascinating? Listen to this. So this is me going full Star Wars nerd for a minute because I'm aggravated with this situation. So Kathleen has realized that this does not work. The sequel trilogy clearly did not work for them at all. So if you are a Rebels fan, much like I am, you know there's an episode called Between the Worlds, which was their version of the Spider-Verse, multiverse, whatever verse in Star Wars. And so, hang on. And so they're going to say that the sequel trilogy is an alternate timeline that does not coincide with episodes 1 through 6, and that it is a different era, and that episode 6 is still the ending of the original saga, and they're going to pick up with another 7 with new characters, and they're going to pick up with, saying that Han, Luke, and Leia are no longer part of it. It's just they're going to take place after 6, but saying that all the characters have passed away and that it's just a new batch of characters after the. I'm not done, and that. No, I am done. That's it. And that's the plan right now. From what I've heard.
I want to move on. Can we move on? I'm over
Yeah.
this. You ruined this. What a good moment. It's crushed. Just crushed. Okay, let's go to something else. Atom Smasher. Let's crush it.
This is weird. I'm not gonna lie to you. When you say the words Black Adam, you don't go and think Atom Smasher. Now I'm gonna be honest. If they cast this guy just because his name's Atom Smasher, I'm gonna be kind of mad.
So do you know
Atom
who's
Smasher's a
playing
great
him?
character.
Do you know who's playing him?
I've seen the face, but I don't know the name to put with the face.
It's okay. I have a whole bunch of pictures right here. Anybody who wants to drool can drool with them.
Oh, I guess you got like the guy, huh?
This
Man,
is
he doesn't scream Atom Smasher either.
Now, hold on. This is technically... Nope.
Wait.
He originally...
Kid that was supposed to play
He-Man.
And now...
And then He-Man got canceled. He bulked up
For good reason.
to play He-Man. Like, he bulked up to play him and things. Like, to look at him, right, and stuff. It got canceled. Warner Bros. Like, oh, what else could we do? And so they put him on.
Can you look at a picture of Black Adam real quick? I mean, of Black Adam, Atom Smasher.
Oh, sure.
I just want to show you guys what he's supposed to look like. That's Atom Smasher. Right there. There he is. Yeah, that's him. I don't know.
This is the picture that was circulating around the most.
Which I get, which is cool.
Now, here's the thing. Something we need to keep in mind and things. One, Noah Centineo has a huge fan base. Now, it's not really a passionate one, but it is a lot of heartthrobs. They're going for a very specific audience here when casting him. They're trying to bring in a different group of people who don't normally watch this. It makes sense from the 4 quadrants. He also has a very prolific relationship with Stargirl. Stargirl, because she got her own TV show, got cut from this movie. There's a new love interest that he'll be getting instead, and so we will have that angle as well. And so he'll be playing a similar role that he's been playing his whole entire career. And so they hired him to do what he is mostly known for. Also, for anybody who is sad that Atom Smasher is not going to be wearing his mask, I am sorry, you do not hire Noah Centineo and put a mask on his face. People are not coming to look at a mask. It's just the truth, and that's just what we have to live with. So get out.
No.
Yes.
This discussion needs to happen because it's completely true. If you get hired on as a superhero and your superhero wears said mask, I don't care if it's just one time or for half a second, it needs to be worn.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be like there will be like an homage to it. But I'm just saying he's not wearing it the full movie.
No, but it has to be worn. I get so aggravated when I hear actors refusing to wear the masks because it takes away from how they look. You chose to play the role. George Clooney was a bitch on set because he had to wear the bat cowl. A bitch on set because he had to wear the bat cowl because it was covering up his Clooney face. And I'm like, dude, you weren't hired to play Batman. You weren't hired to play Clooney, man.
This might not be coming from him. This could simply just be coming from executive heads saying, we didn't pay to put a bag on his face.
You know who was upset he needed to wear a mask? Darren Brule, who played Zemo in Civil War. He was so excited when he got to put the bag on his head for Falcon Winter Soldier. You have no idea. He's like, I get to wear the thing with the wide eyes. And I'm like, that's the guy I like. He likes to wear the shit. But I hate the guys going, this doesn't look good on me. Wear it for a second, then you're done.
I am not saying at all. Don't want anybody saying I'm putting words in my mouth. These people are vicious. Love you. I'm not saying that's him. He could be, I'm sure he's willing to do whatever. This is a very big picture. This is a multi-$100 million picture. I'm sure he's just excited to be there on set working with these people, that he'll do anything they say. I'm more talking about, like, there's going to be people who are execs who are going to be like, why does he have it on? Take it off. He's not here. He's here to do this, which is really wrong. If we look at it from that perspective, it's also really wrong hiring someone for their looks and not for their talent and things. That's a whole other conversation to have on a whole other level.
My favorite performance of any actor with superhero stuff was Will Smith in Suicide Squad for one reason, is that he liked the mask a lot, and that's why he wore it a lot during the film. But he also remembered, like, he wanted certain scenes where he could get, like, the emotion of it. He can't get that out of that mask, and I understood that. But he chose the scenes he wanted to have a mask on, and he looked awesome in the mask. But he didn't wear it the entire film. If they do something like that with Atom Smasher, I'm fine with it. Now, here's my other big thing. I don't give two cahoots about this character. He showed up in Justice League the Animated Series twice. Why is he important
he's important to the team. He's important to the thing. And I'm not really sure why. Am I a huge fan of Atom Smasher? No. Do I believe there's a huge fan base out there of Atom Smashers? Please don't come for me if there is. But I don't believe so.
Don't deal with those Smashamites. They'll get you.
Hey, you don't have a Twitter. I have a Twitter. It's linked down below. Don't go use it.
No, but the fact that we've heard that this was casted and not Levi for Shazam worries me some.
Well, no, they're going to announce the actual castmates of the movie, not the cameos a part of the movie.
He's not going to be a cameo. Shazam's going to be a full character in this film.
No, he doesn't. This is all leading up to Black Adam being a part of Shazam, not Shazam being a part of Black Adam.
I'm not comfortable with this situation.
We already had this conversation like 6 months ago. We're moving forward. So the Wolfman has a team.
Has a team? What? Why is it? Now, from a perspective, it says Wolfman has a team. Some people would think it goes, he's joining the A team?
That would be really funny, and honestly, I'd pay to see it. So, like, but also, side note, no, he doesn't have a team. He has a team. A team. The Wolfman is going to be starring Ryan Gosling, which is an interesting choice on its own. He came with the idea, so we can't fault him for wanting to star in it. This was his choice, whatever. It's fine. Hold on. And we are going director. I can never remember his name to say it. Lemuel will be a part of it. He's also going to be a part of the writing. He's not the only one writing it. There's going to be a few other people, in the writing room, but he will be directing it. He's going to be the one behind the camera, bringing the story to life, whereas Ryan Gosling will be playing the star leading role. What's your opinions on the Wolfman? This is something you really like. I know Wolfman's one of your favorites.
Wolfman is my favorite Universal monster. I unabashedly love the Benicio del Toro Wolfman movie. I think it's one of the most criminally underrated Universal horror pictures ever put to film. Minus the whole Anthony Hopkins bullshit at the end. It's a really, really, really good movie. And I've seen the original 1960s Wolfman movie countless times. I love that film to death. That's one of the best transformation scenes in film besides American Werewolf in London. It's really, 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 really good. I have to plug my computer in, so you give your opinion and I'll give mine.
I don't have an opinion. I think this is a great idea. We did very well for the Invisible Man, and ultimately, I think I'm very curious to do it. I also really like the fact that we're going to be moving forward with these rated R horror films.
Gosling picked Wolfman over anything. I think he would have. I really think if he would have done anything, he would probably pick Dracula or anything because of the sex appeal of Dracula. That's why I would suggest it.
No, he chose Wolfman. I'm not entirely sure I don't know the whole story and things particularly, but I do know that it was his choice. He came on. He was like, I want to produce this film. Do you guys care if we make it? Sue gave him like $10 to $15 million. You come up with a team. We can figure it out. They are already looking into Lemuel to signing a huge deal with them in Universal to do several pictures such as The Invisible Man because it was such a hit on and off PVOD. Overall, just a great, overall film, overall hit. And So it did really well for the studio, and this was the reward. I don't really know if this was his choice of being the reward, as I've heard otherwise, but he's happy with what he got.
Yeah, from what I understand, he wanted to do Frankenstein next, wasn't it?
No,
Where,
he
like,
didn't want to do any more. He was going to do the Invisible Man, move on, do something else. Because the Invisible Man was his idea. He wanted to do it. It was his, whole entire, like, he came up with the whole idea. And so he wanted to do another project where it was just him, like him in his mind, sitting down, like, as us writers do.
well, I think as a creative person, I mean, look at Kevin Feige. I think if you're allowed to broaden your mind when it comes to the content you're currently working on, I think you can do creative things with this franchise. I mean, if it goes to that point, I mean, what he did with the Invisible Man, very modern, very creative, very integrative. What I'm interested about with the Wolfman, like we talked about when we talked about just you and me, there's a fantastical side to the Wolfman side of this, because he obviously, if you know the mythos of the Wolfman, the man and his friend are hunting. The man gets attacked by the Wolfman. He then turns into Wolfman and is killed trying to kill the woman he loves. That is the story of the Wolfman in general. Now, if we looked at what the Dark Universe was going to do with the Wolfman, it was going to be weird because of how and we've seen other variations of Wolfman. Van Helsing's version of the Wolfman with Hugh Jackman, Benicio del Toro's, I think, masterpiece of a film with his Wolfman, and then the original 1950s, 60s Wolfman, and then also Monster Squad. So what I think is going to happen, like we talked about, there is a company that created the Invisible Man suit. I think they're going to pull an Amazing Spider-Man with this universe and say that there's one company in the world creating the monsters. And I think there will be an ending film with this, with all the monsters coming together, realizing they were created for one reason only, which was to kill. And they want to show that they can actually be good anti-heroes in that way, join forces and destroy the company.
I would personally, honestly, truly, like a whole team of villains. Not like Suicide Squad villains, but like actual, because if you do the Wolfman right, okay, just like the Invisible Man was filled with gray characters, gray actions. The ending is extremely, some people really like it, other people really, really hate it. It's a jarring reaction. And once again, the Wolfman can be such a gray character that there is no line for anti-hero because he's crossed it so many times that you can't go back. And we can put him under the same circumstances that our main character in the Invisible Man was under, where those actions that she took makes a lot of sense because of what was going on to her. I think the Wolfman is a lot more gray.
Would you prefer more if it came to a team-up film with all of them being villains, with all the heroes or heroines that came for every film come together?
Or, like, just in general, like, they're all... I'm not entirely sure, because you have... See, I have fallen in love with storytelling of there is no antagonist and there is no protagonist.
I like that a lot.
A lot of people don't, because it does not follow story structure. I really like this.
Structure. I think it's cool that your main character really can be both sides of the coin, and you don't know how it's going to fall by the end of the film. I think Fight Club is a pure indication of that, where there's no villain.
A lot of people like knowing who we're following and who we're supposed to go up against. It's just how our brains work and things.
Yeah.
But I think this series would work perfectly if there was no main character and no antagonist. It's that our main character could, in fact, be our antagonist. And I think that would be fascinating, putting 6 of those people together in one room and seeing the conversations and the things that come out of it and just the actions alone. Because one minute they could be fine, they could be happy, and they could be attacking the other one who is doing something horrible. Because Frankenstein doesn't have a brain. He doesn't know what he's doing. Like, he's just living his best life. And they could be like, oh, we're trying to save you. And the next minute, turn on them. How interesting, and like, you will never know what's going on in that team-up movie. And I think that would be much more interesting than them teaming up together like a normal team-up movie and going and fighting the big bad for that battle.
What I like about Universal, specifically their monster stuff, is that their monster was always the main focus of the film. Like, it wasn't about anybody else. And what I think Invisible Man did so well was the focus was on the Invisible Man, but it was focused more on the actions that were surrounding what he was doing. That's why I think Blumhouse's Halloween was so well done, was because the film was about Michael and Laurie, but it was also about the actions and reactions of what was going on around their surroundings. How Michael coming back, Laurie acting crazy, causing things between her family, and then the family coming together inevitably to stop the undying nature. Last of Us Part 2. I'm playing a game currently called Ghost of Tsushima, and your actions clearly state how the land of Japan's going to be going into going further into your game, because your legend grows, and that determines on what you do within the story. And I love that kind of aspect, because your character is nor good nor bad. You determine on how that's going to go on. And that's why I like the monsters so much, the Universal's monsters, because they're not good, they're not bad. They just have a way of life, and we have to see how that angle goes. The only true villain to me in Universal is Dracula. Because
that is ultimately dependable on how they bring the character back. Why? Because I can tell you, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the way they did Dracula was so human that it was remarkable. Now, in my defense, his character development was not in the episode Buffy versus Dracula. It's a funny episode. Go watch it. Have a good time. It's on Hulu. But I personally think in the comic books, they evolved his character to a whole new level where Dracula could go, instead of being this just standardized, horrible, vile person that he was in real life. The character is based on someone who did horrible things, and he should be presented that way, because it's just like I have a problem with The Greatest Showman. You should present the people that you're trying. What?
Castlevania.
Yeah,
they presented a very human Dracula with everything that he did, but you felt for him during the scenes with his wife, and love that about the show.
I think it all depends once again on how you bring the story together. The Wolfman, in one instance, could be the worst person in the world, but you could be caring for him in the next. And I think that is all based on how they present him, and how the character and how the actors. Elizabeth Moss was a big reason why we cared for the characters inside the Invisible Man. Your actor is just as good as your script. You have a horrible actor, your script can't handle it. Ryan Gosling is a really good actor. He can be. He also, I've seen him not be the best actor also. Huh?
Gangster Squad.
Oh, no one talked about it, Zachary. Okay.
But I just recently watched the film. I recently watched The Fly, and that entire film is based around Goldblum. Having the motivation to be, by the end of the film, he's not his character anymore. He's the Fly, and so you feel bad for the other lady in the film when she has to shoot him, because there was nothing else she could do. She wanted to save him, but she couldn't. But that's how you do a conflicting monster story, is you feel for the monster, but you understand why, and some necessary reason, you have to put them down.
And then once again, these movies can take these type of risks, telling these stories of these gray characters where, they could be bad or good, because they're so fucking cheap. I mean, this movie's probably going to cost like $13-14 million to make, at the high ball up 20, depending on what they decide to do and things. And I promise you, it's going to look beautiful on screen, and we're never going to know. But that way, if they make $80 million at the box office, they still made a huge profit off of that money that they did. The reason why The Invisible Man did so well is because it only cost $30 million to make, or $20 million. I think it was even less than that. It was ridiculously cheap. So
of all the monsters, which one do you think has the less appeal to do well for the theater? I personally think Frankenstein does, because Frankenstein's a hard character to get behind, and also very muted. He doesn't talk.
Once again, Frankenstein isn't actually the monster. It's just Frankenstein's the person who creates the monster. And so that could be really interesting, to be honest with you. I think it's going to be the hardest sell is Dracula. And I only say that or Mummy. And it's only because they've been done so recently. Who knows how many they're going to try to put out there, over the next 10 years or whatever. And by the time they get to them, it might be fresh and might be new or whatever. But both have had remakes here within the last
very recently, which I like the Dracula one over the Mummy one. I think Dracula Untold is such a better film than the Mummy, and I never thought I would say that, but it is.
You have to give Dracula where Dracula's credit. Dracula Untold did so well that they thought they could greenlit this whole universe.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Mummy.
Intently was Dracula Untold started it technically with the Mummy coming in afterwards.
Yeah. And the Mummy,
The Mummy happened.
The Mummy happened. Yeah.
That was a weird experience. You remember that?
Fuck yeah, I remember it. That was one of the worst. Oh, that was so annoying. I never wanted to put
old people in the back talking.
Like, I mean, the action sequences were good, and the movie was not that bad. You had to make fun of it the whole time. I don't understand people who, actually, you know what? I am kind of that person, and when we get there, I'll talk about it. Because I did make fun of a movie this week. This is true. I have a whole Twitter thread I'm going to read to you guys. That will contain spoilers, but I don't. What?
I'm so glad you watched said film without me.
Honestly, it would have been a great commentary, though.
You think?
Oh my God, yes. It would have been a great time. A great time. A horrible time, but a great time.
Would you watch it again just for commentary's sakes?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I would. I'm not really ready to discuss that.
This film really is a piece of shit. Good to know.
I have some thoughts. Okay. All right, we're going to get
next. I want to hear it. Michael Bay can go fuck himself. I want to hear about the cats.
Okay, so this weekend, I had this strong urge to rent a movie called Cats. It was on sale. It was 99 cents. And I was like, this is the perfect time to watch Cats. Okay? So I got on Twitter, and I was like, you know what? We're going to make this a reaction thread because I knew we were doing this podcast, and I had this idea of reading you guys my thoughts while watching Cats. Now, there are vague spoilers here, but there are spoilers. Not that I recommend this movie to anybody watching this. Truly, even if you are a musical fan, I still think you will walk out of this film hating it as much as I did. And no, your next question will ultimately be, was it bad as The Grudge 2020? It was not. This was better, but not by much.
Is this your number 2 so far, the worst of the year?
Yes. This got a star and a half. The Grudge only got half a star. There's an instance there. Now, there is reasons why I got a star and a half. We'll get to that. Okay, so I'm going to read through a thread on Twitter. So, all right, here we go. Wish me luck. I am tackling Cats, the 2019 movie. Then I put a gif of Rebel Wilson falling off. Honestly, I was setting myself up to fail. And then I decided I was going to turn into a thread. So this is the first thing that came to mind when starting the movie. Did they finish the CGI in this film? Because everyone looks weird. I really don't like how they have hands and feet. It's disturbing and distracting. I understand why, but ... Because honestly, I don't understand. I did, but we're gonna get there. They went even further. And then my next one is this, and I'm wondering if you guys can see it or not.
Oh, the mice thing.
So we're gonna get as we go further, and I'm reviewing this film for anybody who is curious because I wanted to. But as we get further, there's other animals that pop up in this movie that are not mice or cockroaches, yet only cats, mice, and cockroaches are the only ones to talk. And honestly, the smaller the animal gets, the scarier it is. These fucking mice pop up like 4 times, and I swear to God, I thought I was going to die every single time because they're the most scariest thing in the whole movie. And I just don't even know. And then it went from the mice to I don't even know how to comprehend what I am watching. And then, who thought this was a good idea? And then, why doesn't the dog talk? Everything else talks. Why doesn't the dog talk? Pay for an extra voice actor. Give him a song. What's his pain? Let me know. Try a little. It took 40 minutes to get to a good song, and now we have Judi Dench. How did they get these people to star in this thing? Honestly, truly, it's nothing but a musical. It's a complete musical from minute 1 to whatever. Also with the creepy dancing and the licking and the eating. Oh my God, it was so disturbing. It's like they all wanted to fuck, but they didn't know how to fuck, so they couldn't fuck. And I just didn't really understand where we were going. And then Judi Dench pops up, and she has the best CGI on her out of everybody. That person looked like a cat. What?
Because it's Judi Dench. You
I
don't
know. That's
you
the
don't
reason.
talk over Judi Dench.
The fact that none of these cats have had a catnap is so far the most unrealistic thing about this movie. They are now wearing shoes! Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point, shock face. Can Jennifer Hudson save this movie? Spoiler, she could not, but she sure as hell fucking tried.
Was her song good?
I'm getting there. Oh wow,
Oh.
this is making me cry. Damn it. It did bring a tear. Like I said, it is a 1.5 movie. Okay, now I'm back to not liking it. I have such mixed emotions. And I just want Taylor Swift to show up. Here she comes. Taylor Swift is, by the way, the only cat with boobs. Because she has her shimmy. That's the only reason why they gave it to her. It was so distracting. How did it get worse? And why did they give her a bad number? Honestly, she should have been the lead. Also, naked Idris Elba is an interesting choice. It was something. Why do the cats have magic powers? What the fuck is this movie? For every good thing, they have a worse thing. Plus, why is she a bad cat and not a good cat? I'm talking about Taylor Swift in this particular tweet.
Oh, I got you.
Jennifer Hudson is a fucking goddess, and the best thing about this movie. Why couldn't this be a lesbian love story? It wouldn't have been great, but it would have been better. Also, Beautiful Ghosts and Memories are the only good songs. Beautiful Ghosts was not even a part of the original musical. That's how bad this movie was. Is that the song that was written for the movie was better than any other song. What?
You sang that one.
Actually, I didn't actually think the person who sung in the movie, which is the person who plays the lead, who's new. She's a ballet person. That's where she came from her background. Taylor Swift is the one who wrote it and released it, and she did a much better job, equaling she should have been the lead.
Gotcha. But Memories was good though.
Oh, Memories was beautiful. Honestly, there's only 2 scenes out of this movie. If you're a Taylor Swift fan, I recommend going and watching that because I'm sure somebody would find enjoyment out of it. I don't know who, but somebody would. And then the scene between Jennifer Hudson's the first time she sings and the second time she sings, both are amazing. Now, I've heard people criticize it because she's crying a lot and like all this other stuff, but I found it to be very emotional and very impactful because of Jennifer.
And also, they're singing live, aren't they?
I don't know. James Gordon did. I didn't mention him. I also didn't really mention Rebel Wilson. I don't know why they were here. I didn't ask for them, but they came. And I'm normally a big fan of Rebel Wilson and James.
Let me ask you a question. Does them now making fun of the movie all dressed up at the awards make more sense now?
It's perfect. I would too. I would too.
Okay, you hated that when we talked about it.
We're not done yet. I just want to mention we're almost done. They're breaking the fourth wall. What?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You might be asking, Jacob, what do you mean they're breaking the fourth wall? I mean, the last 10 minutes of the movie is Judi Dench talking to me what a cat means. To my face. Well, Jennifer Hudson floats off in a balloon. I guess this was major spoilers. Not that I care.
Do you understand why she flew off, though?
Because she died. She went to heaven.
Yeah, she died.
Yeah, I understood
the entire basis of this film was that one person would get in a balloon and die.
Well, that was a clusterfuck of a movie. Probably 2 stars. It was a 1.5. I dropped it. We'll talk about more on the podcast tomorrow evening, tonight in particular. That was my experiences while watching Cats, and my God, I will never forget it, but also I don't want to remember it. Zachary, when I tell you, I've never okay, it's like if you took a CGI movie, okay, just a normal CGI, but not that great, like a Nickelodeon CGI movie. You know, the ones where it's like, oh, we're kind of there, but we're not really there. You know.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about? Or maybe like Cartoon Network's like Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
That hybrid thing, whatever that was.
Yeah.
You put them on bodies. Scooby-Doo on bodies with heads. That's what they looked like.
You wonder why we watched this movie.
And also, I was like, oh, could I pull up a picture? But all the pictures I found, they must have enhanced them for us to not realize how actually bad they were. Because I was like, this is, and I also want to mention, because I think it's very important to mention, I went into this movie thinking I could like it. I didn't go in this movie thinking I'm going to hate it. I didn't go in this movie thinking this is going to be the worst thing ever, since like The Grudge 2020. No, I didn't think that. No, I went into this movie thinking it could be bad, but I'm hoping it's like a fun time. It wasn't fun. I was bored. I cried because of Jennifer Hudson, nobody else. So like, boo-hoo to them. And like the story itself is confusing as fuck, and you don't really even understand what's going on. You want to understand, and also, like I said, they never fuck. And like I don't understand why, because they're all humping each other. There's a scene in the movie where they drink milk from one another, and they're still not having sex. Just do it. Just do it, cats. Just go on. Yeah. I don't even know how to think about this, but because I want you to end with this. And this is the perfect representation of what it could. God almighty. But honestly, like, I mean, truly, the best one. They did the best job. And yet, they did not CGI her hands. Now, also, in picture form, this looks pretty good, right?
Yeah.
That's because she's not moving.
God almighty.
Like, they should have just put them in leotards. It would have been better. I don't know how much better, if I'm being honest with you. But it would have been better. Oh, by the way, this right here, it's supposed to be a relationship. Like these cats that fall in love and things. And it was. Oh,
you didn't talk about Ian McKellen.
Yeah, I didn't. That's true. See, that is better.
That's the actual musical.
I know. And by the way, this does not make me want to go back and rewatch the musical or find a version of it. Oh, this is that scene, by the way. They're in a milk place. Yeah. Jason Derulo, who also I had high hopes for because of all the funniness that we have out of Jason Derulo. No, butthole, they CG'd out my penis, like all this stuff, you know? And he didn't even do that well of a job. Sorry. Don't mean to be rude. I just mean the only person good in this movie was Jennifer Hudson. It was sad. I don't know. I could go on for a while. We don't need to, though.
I really don't care about this.
Yes, but I think it's very important. Both of these stories are very important for several reasons. Not so much about the movie itself, but for the business side of the movie. So we're going to very quickly talk about it, and then we can move forward.
Yeah, because you know why I don't care? Because our last conversation about Michael Bay really put a really bad taste in my mouth.
I don't plan on ever watching it. That's not the point of this. The point is more about the fact that he found a way around the pandemic. So I figured that was more interesting. It's going to be filmed in LA, and it's going to be set 6 months after the pandemic. So it's unrealistic. That's fine.
Yeah.
And instead of the pandemic going the way we did it, which was trying to harness it and not there be gangs and a normal, a typical end of the world kind of thing, they're going down much more of a typical end of the world type of thing. There's gangs. It's a Romeo and Juliet love story. Yes, I'm not joking. I wish I was. And so forth and so forth. And it gets convoluted. And it's probably going to have some action sequences, some explosions, and possibly a kiss and an upskirt shot. Because it's Michael Bay. What can you expect, honestly? The stars here, though, I do find to be very interesting. They're very TV. I enjoy both of them. I think they do a okay job at acting. I've never been blown away by any of their performances. Let me know in the comments down below if you have. KJ Apa, who is most known for Archie Andrews, will be playing the lead. I thought he did okay in I Still Believe, a movie I don't even really remember, but I know I own because of Britt Robertson. So there's that. And then Sophia Carson will be playing the love interest or the girl, which I also very much enjoy. She is most known for Descendants, but she is making headways in other mediums as well, such as music.
She got a Netflix film coming out later.
She has a Netflix film that's out.
Oh, my bad. I didn't
you can watch it. It's a dancing film. I didn't watch it. She could be good in it. She was also in The Perfectionist, which I heard she was really good in, but I didn't watch it. But I thought she was okay.
I think she's really good.
I heard she was, and I thought she was okay in. She wasn't my favorite part of Descendants, but she wasn't my favorite.
We all know why Michael Bay cast her. We all know why Michael Bay cast her. We all know why Michael Bay cast her.
Yeah, and I feel really bad for her.
The shitty reason, but we know why.
Yeah. Either way, that's it. The more important part here is that they're going to be able to film outside because people have to social distance. They have to wear masks because everybody else has to wear masks. I mean, it was a genius idea. I just hate the fact that he was a part of the reason who came up with it, which is why I'm so excited to move on to a better story. And that, my friend, is Zendaya being a fucking goddess. And let's talk about that, as this is a much more interesting story. It takes
the Kill Bill thing, right?
Huh?
Is this about Kill Bill?
No.
Oh, you know about the Kill
That's
Bill thing,
also
right?
a great idea. Not confirmed, but also be
It's a
very,
great idea. Are you kidding me?
very
To see
important.
that happen would be dope. I don't think Quentin Tarantino would do it, but that'd be awesome.
I don't think we'll ever get a volume 3. I think if we were going to get a volume 3, it would have already happened. Also, I strongly believe that they would have to recast or go with younger leads and things. And Uma Thurman will definitely not work with Quentin Tarantino ever again. So ultimately, I don't think it's going to happen.
It would be weird if she wasn't in the film to begin with, because she's the wife. It'd be weird if she wasn't there.
Yeah, I would need a good reason why they had to work around type of thing. As she has always said, though, even though she never liked working with him, and Volume 2 almost killed her, she did say she would be interested in working with the third one, but as long as he only wrote it and he would not be the one directing.
What if that's how they got around it? Is that they had a discussion where Quentin would just write it, and
I don't think he would just write it, though. I think if he wrote it, he would direct it. Yeah, but this is his franchise. It's different if it's somebody else's baby. This is his baby, type of thing. So either way, not the thing we're talking about. Here, but,
shame, though.
What?
It's a shame, though.
I agree. I think it would have been an excellent casting, and honestly, I would love to see it. No, this is actually on an Oscar contender movie that was filmed during quarantine. So, yeah. Like I said, this is a great story. And honestly, this should be the story they tell you when you're voting for the Oscar. I would vote for it just on the pitch alone. Like, Jesus. So it stars Zendaya and not Denzel Washington, his son, John David Washington, who is Tenet's star. And the director is Sam Levinson, who is the creator of Assassination Nation, Euphoria, and one other film, but most notably Euphoria. She texted him one night and said, "I'm bored. Write me a movie, find a place, we'll film it." He wrote her a movie in 3 days. He found a place. He wrote the whole movie around said place. He got the rights to work in said place. He grabbed a crew. She said, "Oh, I have a good friend, John David Washington. He should be a part of it. Can you be my love interest? Because this is the love story between two people." And he was like, "I don't care. See if he's on board." He was on board. They all went. They all stayed in the Caterpillar House, which is a house up in the LA Hills. It's a museum. You walk through it. It's not really a place that you can own, but it's very prolific, very beautiful. Lots of land and things. Like, they could do whatever they want as long as they were quarantined for the amount of time that you're supposed to be. And they filmed the movie like normal. Like, no exception. They could, kiss or whatever. I'm sure there will be kissing. I'm sure there's going to be a sex scene knowing Sam Levinson is a part of this movie. And I'm sure it was fine, whatever. But just what when you watch it, they did all the precautions to be able to film this movie like normal. As if they were on a normal set, on a normal soundstage.
When's it being released?
No one knows, because it still has to go through editing and like all that stuff. But it was told as it's a movie like Marriage Story. I do believe I do have a picture. It's in black and white. Let me very quickly see if I can't find that so you can have a visual over it.
This sounds interesting. And kudos to her, man. I mean,
all her idea.
Man. She is a blessing to the world. She really, really is. Honestly, of the two, I'm really glad that she got more of this than Bella did, because I'm glad Bella's doing good for herself, but I prefer watching more of Zendaya's work over Bella Thorne's.
It is called Malcolm and Marie, is what the title of the movie is called, and then this is the picture that she released when she made her announcement, when the team and everything made the announcement. This is the picture.
That's awesome.
This is the title and stuff, but it was a secret movie that was filmed out of the blue. No one knew what was going on except for the people involved in things, and I could not be happier. Also, I was so nervous that Sam Levinson was going to be stuck with. I love Euphoria. I'm happy he's continuing on. I can't wait for the second season, but I was so nervous that he's going to be stuck in this like one little area. I'm so happy they formed such a good bond that she would ask him to make a movie for her and all this other stuff.
It's always good when a director and a star are that close, because you know the work coming out of them will always be good. I mean, for me, still the best duo for filmmaker and star ever is going to be Martin Scorsese and Leonardo DiCaprio, because they've made some of my favorite movies together, and it always feels right when you hear the announcement of said person working with said director again, and it just fits, and I love that.
So this is the house that the movie was built around. It is
And
called
the entire film takes place in this one house.
The entire film will take place inside this one house. I'm assuming.
My favorite kind of films.
I have a strong feeling it's going to be like a single night in their life or something like that. Something under those lines. Going through the turmoil, maybe. What?
You think a single shot film?
I do have. I don't know if it's going to be a whole film filled with single shots. But I do have a strong feeling that there are going to be massive one takes. It's like, okay, most people can't handle Assassination Nation because it goes very far. But the scene where shit gets real is it's just one take, and it's one of the best scenes I've ever seen in like cinema. And then also there's several scenes in Euphoria that no one has ever seen, because that also goes like really far, that he directed. They're such beautiful. He is such a gorgeous director that I would love for them both to get like an Oscar off of this one film. Like, you could not award Marriage Story, award this, is kind of like how I would pitch it.
Yeah.
Because I think Marriage Story, ultimately, I love Little Woman. I loved, I honestly, I watched Parasite not that long ago, and I get it. I understand all the hype and stuff, but I do think it ruined it for me, as I did not love it as much as I think other people did. I didn't think it. I mean, I thought it was beautiful. I thought the house was beautiful. Also, another movie that takes place in one
Marriage Story was the better movie of the three.
I think Marriage Story was the better movie out of them all. Out of all the ones I've seen that were Best Picture, I have not seen all of them. I still have like a few more, but Marriage Story is still by far my favorite movie on that whole list.
So good.
I understand why Parasite's won, and these other things. I understand what goes into that decision and things. And the story just happened to be better. The pitch happened to be better than Marriage Story, which
Marriage
I get.
Story is just a movie. It's just a movie. Such a good movie.
And once again, I will feel robbed for a long time for Scarlett Johansson not winning the Oscar. And also, I don't know. I think last year would have been the year.
Adam Driver saved himself for me with Marriage Story, because I think that's his best movie he's ever made. Yeah, I really do.
And which is why this makes me so excited. The house itself looks really cool. I'm a huge fan of everybody involved in it. Like, I mean, this movie will probably be like on my top 10 favorites. It would be really bad for not to be on like a high list of numbers.
I mean, let's also be real here. John David Washington gets a movie out this year, which is huge for him.
Also, fun fact, who knows it's going to come out this year? It could be a next year release, depending on where it falls. Also, it's probably going to be a limited release, and so we're probably going to get it on PVOD or Netflix or something, which is also going to be really cool.
What do we find out that the Netflix acquired the rights to the film, and they're the ones that put it out? That'd be dope as fuck.
But ultimately, also, I would also like to mention that Zendaya had to be the person to get her a black love interest. As every movie she's ever done, she's always had a white love interest. This was a very big deal on Twitter. She had to go and she had to make the project in order for that to happen. And also, John David Washington is a man of darker skin, which is such a big deal. And I really hope this means more progress we made towards not having such horrible, blatant colorism inside. Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. She revealed the movie with a black and white image. Do you think the film will be shot in black and white?
I don't know. I think it could add a whole other level. And also, it could take away the whole problem that a lot of people, which I think this is just people being lazy, in my personal opinion. I would love to know anybody else's opinions about lighting darker skin actors and stuff. Making it all black and white could take away that whole entire issue that people keep saying.
I think it could set a different message, though, like saying, like, it doesn't matter of the color of your skin. It just matters the actor quality. Because, I mean, for personal reasons, I just finished watching the black and white version of Logan. And if you would have told me that Hugh Jackman was a difference of color for that film, it wouldn't have taken away the fact that the movie is still an incredible film. And I really think that black and white adds a lot to movies when done right. Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Because I mean that feels like an old 1960s, 1970s shot from a really hard love story between these two people who have just a problem they have to fix with each other. And I can just see like the chemistry between the two of them already. When black and white's done right, it's just mesmerizing. And so I kind of hope they keep it that way. I think it'd be cool.
Who knows? Who is in the idea? Or maybe how they do it, maybe parts of the film are in black and white and the other parts are in color, depending on, that is something he would definitely do. Like I said, this is not going to be a film. I think every angle of this film, the writing, the directing, the acting, I think it's all going to be like top notch. I think this is a huge contender. So like, I think that's just so exciting. So yeah. Next thing I want to talk about going down, the 1 week that we missed, a lot of black actors and things got a lot of recognition in Hollywood, which was really, really cool. Such as Batwoman, which casted their new lead.
And I like her.
Go find. This is by. Oh, I want the full picture. There she is. I think this is by far the best picture that I've seen of her, and I think she looks absolutely gorgeous. It's Jessica Lucille. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong, but this is who will be playing her.
And Ruby has fully endorsed her as well.
Yes, which could be a good sign for her to come back and not to kill her off, which I think would be a real problem if they do kill her off camera.
We've talked about that, yeah.
But so that's what this is about.
This really does pique my interest now for the show, because now I'm like, okay, this is an angle. Are they going to go with maybe a BLM kind of angle of the story now? Maybe like with everything going on, maybe they add that to her character. I think that'd be interesting.
Maybe, I don't know.
There's a lot they can do with her.
I agree. I think her look though is very beautiful.
My one question:
unknown.
How is she going to fit the cowl?
Well, they're going to have to change the whole costume.
Oh yeah.
They're gonna, and everything, and so she'll get a whole new costume based on her look and things, and so that's also something I'm very curious about.
I'm gonna have to go take my dog. I'll be right back.
Another image is not fully realized, but overall, I thought this looked very, very good. And once again, I'm curious to see how it does, what it looks like, in general, and things of that matter. But we're gonna move on to our next subject matter, which is Gotham is getting a new TV show. And no, don't get it wrong with the Fox's Gotham, which they changed that title because like we already have a Gotham.
It'd be weird if they didn't change it.
I know, like that'd be like a 1-2 punch.
By the way, just call it GCPD.
It's Gotham Central
Police Department.
No, the actual comic that's based off of. I can't remember what it's called. It's based on an actual title.
Yeah. But for the sake to keep it simple, just call the show GCPD.
Sure.
Yeah. I feel like you and I have talked about this a lot off camera. I have nothing a lot to say about it for camera reasons. I mean, I think it's a great idea. I think it'd be a shame if Jeffrey Wright doesn't show up as Commissioner Gordon at least once.
And it's not your idea in the first place.
Huh?
Why hire him when this is not your idea in the first place?
My point. By the way, we didn't talk about this. Do you think Pattinson would show up at all?
I don't know. It's a good question. I think so. Probably like a final episode cameo.
Of the series or season?
Season. The first season, like a final episode cameo.
Or what if they do Batman for the first episode and they bring Gordon in for the final episode?
No, I think Gordon has to be a part of the whole thing. Personally, I think my best one that I liked a lot is the fact that they could do we all agree, the Batwoman movie that they have planned right now should not go forward.
No.
We can all agree. So listen to my idea instead, which also has to do with Batwoman or Batgirl. This is all Batgirl, not Batwoman. Sorry, we just talked about her. Is that they integrate Barbara Gordon into this TV show and they show her evolve and become, a part of the Bat family throughout the TV show, because they have to have somebody like that in it to our attention. It could turn into a procedural. I don't want it to turn into a police procedural, but but it could, and having that extra layer could keep us intrigued week to week, even though we're going through like Gotham.
Here's my problem with that. What you described was having a Gotham show with a bat person in it. Fox just did that, where they had a police procedural around a character trying to become a bat person.
Your point being?
They just be doing what Fox did, except switching Bruce Wayne to Barbara Gordon.
Here we go. You want to hear a very fun fact? HBO Max is not Fox.
But Fox.
HBO Max is not Fox. HBO Max is not Fox.
I'm talking about giving it new life.
No, I get that, but I personally feel like why ruin a formula that's not broken?
But it was broken.
No, it did moderately okay over there on Fox.
No, not that. I don't want to. It makes sense because Barbara's supposed to be a little girl / teenager when she becomes Batgirl, so it makes sense. I don't want this show to be the Barbara becoming Batgirl show. I want this show to be
like a B storyline. Like it's not main storyline, but it's there. It's happening maybe in the background and like that type of thing. Not to make it like I'm Batman, I'm Bruce Wayne, let me become Batman. And who is Jim Gordon? Who knows? Because Gotham didn't.
No, I can agree with you on that. Now, what I think would be cooler is you do your Barbara Gordon aspect, but we make her, say, a detective of the GCPD, and she's already Batgirl within the universe, and Batman hasn't met her yet.
I personally want to see her evolve into it. I think it's a very empowering story that you need to see every angle, not just when she gets shot.
Do you think we could get a setup for a Robin character within the show, maybe too?
Something like that. I think there's a lot of possibilities here. And I think, just limiting ourselves to Batman and, James Gordon showing up, James, who's that? Don't know. Jim Gordon showing up on screen, I think is it is wrong. Also, with the fact that Montoya is a main character inside the comic book, maybe we'll get a.
Back to the MCU.
I personally would rather have a new Montoya. She was one of my least favorite characters in Birds of Prey.
I think she does a good job when she's trying to be the cop part. I think if they got away with the comedy aspect of, I like the actress a lot, and I think if they got away with the comedy aspect of her, I think she could be a really good Renee Montoya if they give her the right kind of stuff to work with,
and not make her the person who is not a part of the police force. I mean, they really deconstruct that character to like the lowest of lows.
An integral cop that works with Batman within the GCPD. It's weird what they did with her in the show. It'd be really cool for us to walk in the first episode and we see Lieutenant Montoya sitting at her desk going, "This Bat guy, I'm telling you."
And I would personally feel like because of what they did with Birds of Prey, I personally would think if they're not moving forward with that squad into its own personal spin-off TV show, which was talked about at one point, I think they need to recast her because ultimately this is a part of a different universe, supposedly.
We now know that's confirmed, but this is a different universe outside of the DCU. It's a different thing altogether, which makes sense. Ultimately, it makes sense. This is so exciting.
We're going to move on to Tron 3, which trended on Twitter late last week or late the week before, and we have, I'm going to say, some theories. Mm-hmm. Now, I do want to mention that a lot of theories that were mentioned were simply fan theories. A lot of people thought they were being serious, such as several people saying one thing about the movie. I can't remember. Jared Leto.
Yeah.
For it. I don't believe that's true at all. And those type of things.
Though.
Huh?
He'd be such a good Tron villain. Oh.
I get that. I just don't think it's going to happen. Maybe it will now because of how much of the hype was there with it. But Zachary, I have a question for you. Would you want a sequel to Tron Legacy or a sequel to Tron?
No. Tron Legacy is a sequel to Tron. Therefore,
we might be excluding that one out.
No. You don't exclude anything. The people who think Legacy is dumb are crazy. It is a beautiful just creation of nothing but pure sci-fi glory. And they wiped it away because they didn't like how it did at the box office. It is a absolute beautiful film. It's one of my favorite Jeff Bridges performances in any film, whether him being the main character from Tron or Clue from in the game. And Olivia Wilde is incredible in the film. The Daft Punk soundtrack is some of the best music ever put to Disney movies.
Which, once again, is the whole reason why this is being brought up, because a sound person, not even somebody working on the script, not somebody working on the movie, but the person who do scores and does that stuff, got an email saying, hey, Daft Punk is making a movie at Disney. And obviously that right there makes you believe a Tron 3 because of Daft Punk being influential. And he happened to share it on a very, very small, like ours, little podcast, and it went viral. And that's what we're talking about today.
So, but what could a Tron 3 be, though? That's the question now for this movie. Like, what can it be? Because at the end of Legacy, we see Olivia Wilde's character, and I forget the main character. I forget the actor main character's name.
I pulled it up.
In the movie.
So it's Garrett Hudland and it's Sam Flynn.
Thank you. It's it's Flynn's son. Because the original premise of Legacy was for Flynn to go back into Tron to find his dad and bring him home, but ultimately it doesn't happen. His father dies within there. Clue becomes a better person, and he eventually becomes the Tron that he's supposed to be within the original timeline. Anyway, so what I think this film could be is, what if Tron got out of its universe and came to ours? What if for some reason Tron wanted to be like a villain within Tron was like, I want to rule 2 worlds, not just one. And so his plan is to get out of the game and rule over a modern version. And we see Sam and Olivia's character, with their lives, being who they are, but they have to go back into action one more time to save Tron, but this time Earth as well. It's a cliche story plot. I understand that, but
extreme.
Yes, but think of how much bigger and deeper it would be if that villain was played by Jared Leto. Because if you've seen Blade Runner 2049, he plays such a great cybernetic dude. And I think it'd be awesome because he just feels strong. I don't know. I'm really excited. I love this. I love the series of death. The Tron Uprising show, the animated one, very good too. That's all I have to say. Jacob?
Oh, sorry. I jumped ahead. That's for something different. So, as you guys can see here, I didn't really care for Tron, or Tron Legacy. I thought it was a pretty show. So Tron 3 sounds just about as interesting as those did. Pretty show.
Let's move on.
Okay, got to know we're there. Okay, I want to very quickly mention that things are currently in production that certain movies have started filming, and one of those being Jurassic World 3. They, on their Twitter, released a set photo of them being in a snowy part of the world, and you guys can see here, they are currently in the middle of filming outside, and things of such manner.
Man, it's so nice seeing Trevorrow behind the camera of a film he's supposed to do. Let me tell you, so nice seeing Colin Trevorrow work on a film he's supposed to work on.
That was fun. Let's move on to another interesting story. Zachary, let's talk about the
Sorry.
How about we just talk about the Netflix top 10 list? That's that interesting? Cool.
Yeah, so you can bring this up because this wasn't originally on the docket. So, Jacob, what's going on with Netflix top 10 that makes you go this crazy?
Well, it's not so much as it's crazy. I'm just curious about your opinions and your guesses while we go through the top 10, by the way, as I have them pulled up here on my phone. So, yeah. What I find to be very interesting here is, one, that there's 2 movies. There might be 3 movies here that came out this year alone. Netflix is known for fudging their numbers, so take these with a grain of salt. Also, these are the movies that you can guarantee will probably get a sequel. So, look out for those.
Number one's gotta be cursed.
Huh?
Number one's cursed. Gotta be cursed.
No, these are Netflix original movies.
Oh, I thought you meant like Netflix in general.
Nope, original movies.
Number 1, Old Guard.
Netflix, hold on. Top 10 Original. I can understand why that's kind of confusing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm glad I elaborated. There we go.
Here we go. So we're going to go 10 and work our way up because I find that to be much more interesting. Zachary, don't just start from the top. The first one, the number 10, you're not going to know. So like I'm just going to say, and you're like, oh, really? Wow, move on. So it's The Platform, which is a Spanish horror film. It's amazing to see a foreign language film on here, let alone. And it has 56 million viewers.
That's what you did see. But I know what that is. That one to watch. It's about the movie of a guy trying to descend platform. It looked cool.
It's very horrifying. You would get scared.
Okay.
Number 9 is also new. Actually, this just came out this year as well. It's a comedy. There's 2 Adam Sandler movies. One that he produced, one that he produced and starred in. I'm sure you know which one that is. This is the one he produced, not the one he starred in.
Is this the one with David Spade?
It is. It's called The Wrong Missy, and it has 59 million views, coming at number 9.
Good.
All right, it's very raunchy, so be prepared who we watch it with. But I also
we both like the other one. You and I both love the other one.
We'll get there. It's a little bit further up on this list. Number 8 stars Ben Affleck, Charlie Hunnam, a few other people that I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was a action flick.
I love this movie.
Came at 63 million. Did not realize it was that popular, but it was.
I'm trying
to
remember
help the title.
Yes, please.
Triple Frontier.
Yes, I like this movie a lot. I watched this movie at 5 in the morning. It's really good.
Number 7 has old people in it. Was nominated for an Oscar. That's all you need.
Old people?
And nominated for an Oscar. Pay
Marriage
attention.
Story?
No, Zachary, those people are not old. Okay? Bad CGI. Okay, there we go. Came at 64 million because obviously people are going to watch the gangster movie. I mean, it's the gangster movie.
No matter how long and boring it is.
I just, we're on the same page. Number 6 is a movie that just came out and that we might have a live commentary to.
Old Guard.
With 72 million in 6 days. Since definitely getting a sequel. Anything from
you see the fun thing Netflix did with that movie? They have an Old Guard video game on their website, and if you play it and beat the game at a certain time, you get Netflix for life. I'm not kidding.
We are known for taking detours. I am taking a slight detour over here to what I call Google, and we're going to type the Old Guard video Netflix game. Shit. Now has a game too. As part of the streaming giant promotional campaign around the action film starring Charlie Theron and that person about a covert Netflix releasing a battery-based game of the same name. 83 years of free subscription if you want to. Is it hard? Is that the reason why?
Maybe. I don't know.
Well, 80. My grandchildren until I die.
0. Zach 1.
You know what? You can go shove it. So number 5 is also another Adam Sandler pick that we have both seen that we both enjoyed. Which is called
it's a mystery game movie show.
So it's mystery. I mean, what's the mystery about?
Vacation.
What happens in that mystery?
Killing.
What's another word for killing?
Death.
Murder. Fucking murder, Zachary. Murder mystery. Coming in number 5 with 83 million.
That's great.
Tying with that is also with 83 million. We had talked about the director in this very video. Very podcast.
Oh. Michael Bay?
Michael Bay. What was that movie?
6.
What?
Is it Unstoppable 6 or Impossible 6?
None of the above. It's Six Underground, but thank you for trying.
My memory is woo.
That was with 83 good old-fashioned million views. Could you imagine that piece of shit getting 83 million views and a sequel? Because that's a possibility that I didn't realize was a thing. Number 3 is also another movie that came out quite recently with Mark Wahlberg.
This one I don't know.
It was a remake. It's a comedy of a buddy cop. It was based on a TV show in the 70s.
I know what you're talking about, but I legit don't know the title.
Spencer Confidential.
Okay.
Got a whopping 85 million views. Number 2 was a movie that came out last Christmas that I'm sure you didn't see.
Klaus?
You should have saw that. I'm disappointed in you. No,
I haven't seen Klaus.
I said I'm sure you haven't seen.
Oh, is it the one with fucking what's his name from Hateful Eight about being Santa and being all macho and shit?
Nope. Zachary, this is not a Christmas movie. It just came out around Christmas time.
Oh, then I really don't know.
Sandra Bullock is a star. Huh? Sandra Bullock. What else there was a challenge based off of it.
Oh.
Maybe it's 2018. Maybe I set you up for failure there. But it's fine. Moving forward.
What was it called?
Oh my god, you really need to work on your titles. Boy. Bird Box.
Oh yeah, that piece of shit movie.
Hey, that was a great movie. You're just a scaredy cat. It's not your fault. So it had 89 million people and a whole challenge based off it that you did not get 83 years of free prescription for running into walls and knives. Some people would like that. You should send that to them, Netflix. Number 1 is what? Movie have we not mentioned that was very popular that came out a few months ago. We talked about it. It was a fun time. Set in India.
Oh, Lovebirds.
No. That definitely is nowhere near this list. And also, not set in India.
Do you want to know why I said Lovebirds?
I know why. We're going to move forward, okay?
Okay.
You don't need to talk about it. You should be ashamed of yourself.
I am. What is it, Jake?
No. They came out with the biggest movie of all time. He was a character in that biggest movie of all time. I am giving it to you. Just say that title. Okay, what is the biggest movie of all time?
Avengers.
Who was a part of Avengers Endgame that had a Netflix?
Extraction.
Jesus, my fucking Christ. I want everybody to know that took way too long to get through the 10 list because my brother does not understand titles. By the way, Extraction has 100 million. What?
India equals Lovebirds. That should be the title of this video.
It's definitely not going to be because no one should ever hear it. Honestly, I feel like I should go back through and cut it. That's how bad it is.
I can't stop laughing.
So, Extraction got up to 100 million views. It's definitely getting a sequel.
Oh, that's great.
Where are they going? Yeah, it's a great question. All right, because it's the end of the podcast, Zachary. What do we talk about at the end of the podcast?
What we've been watching.
All righty, let's talk about what we have been watching. Also, we'll talk about the very end some announcement for next week's podcast because you guys should be totally checking in because it's the end of the month, which means some bigger, certain stories that ever get discussed every beginning of the next month. So go.
Oh man. Okay. So I'm going to call this called What Have You Been Watching and Playing. So I've been mainly doing two things. I have been watching over past 4 days. I watched the first hour of Logan, the black and white version of Logan. You can plug your hip. I watched over 4 days of Logan Noir. That movie is so much better in black and white. It's so much better. It plays like a Western. It's so good. And I feel like the game came out the perfect time because I've also been playing Ghost of Tsushima. And wow. Just wow. That's all I'm going to say about that. I'm going to be doing a full game review on my channel once I'm done with it. Because I got nothing else to do. Let's see. I I watched episode 1 of Warrior Nun, Jacob. I watched episode 1. I'm not watching the rest of the show.
Honestly, it's okay.
It was boring.
Yeah, I told you. I told you this. I told you nothing happened until like episode 4.
No, you did. But listen, if a show can't hold me for as long as the episode was, then I'm not gonna finish it.
Hey. We have this rule. It's a rule that we live by. 3 episodes, then we quit. 3 episodes. By the end of that 3rd episode, I promise you'll be hooked.
The other one I started, I haven't finished it. It was Cursed. I watched episode 1.
Did not like it.
Majorly disappointed. I feel like we were promised something so much more, and it feels like a Game of Thrones ripoff.
No, I don't think that. I just don't think it's good. I think it's a major disappointment, like you said. I just don't think
even Catherine isn't good in the show. Like they're trying to hold like accents in the show that really don't work. And visually, it's nice. I think visually it looks really good. However, though, I'm saying that I'm going to finish the show because I think that within this, there's a good second season somewhere. I really, really, really do. But
can't we all just agree that if you have a great second season, just give that to us instead of this?
Yeah. Well, that's how I feel about The Witcher.
Hey, I personally thought the whole first season of The Witcher was great. Was it as great as Wild Hunt?
No.
But was it great? Yes. Was it worth hearing Henry Cavill, thank you. Say fuck? Yes. My gosh, yes. Was worth it. I still watch videos of him just saying fuck. Because it's great.
I don't know. For right now, for me, Netflix currently in the live action fantasy version so far, they're 0 for 3. I think the only live action fantasy film or series that Netflix has done still to me, I think is just a fucking masterpiece. And I know you won't watch it because of what it involves, The Dark Crystal. It is still the best show
not live action.
put out in the past 2 years. It still is. I don't care. It's better than anything. It's better than The Crown. It's better than anything Netflix has put out. Dark Crystal is their masterpiece, and they fully need to accept that. It is their.
Okay. What else have you been watching, Zachary?
Let's see. I started Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Interesting. Did you get far? Did you give up? Did you hate it?
I loved it. I thought it was absolutely hilarious from beginning to end. Peralta is one of the best comedic on-screen protagonists ever, and Captain Holt is just. I'm going to talk like this the entire show and be the funniest character of this entire show, and it's completely correct. It's so good. It makes me want her to play Batwoman now more. Watching the show, I'm like, she kind of fits that like badassery comedic kind of role. I understand why she can't, but she fits it now. And I also restarted the MCU in order. So I watched Captain Marvel for the first, not Captain Marvel, Captain America: First Avenger, because it's first. It's first technically.
I guess technically, yeah, it would, because Captain Marvel takes place in the 90s.
It'd be second, and then it would go Iron Man. But
unless you're just watching direct scenes from certain movies, then it would be a little bit different.
If you're gonna be like that super nerd, which I am, but not currently right now, no. But I rewatched First Avenger, and I hate saying this because I hate when I go back and watch films and certain things just don't hold up anymore. First Avenger does not hold up at all.
Do you want to know a fun fact that I just learned today while doing this podcast about the First Avenger? The director of that directed The Wolfman 2010. Fun fact.
Hence why that's why I like the style of First Avenger so much, because he's got that kind of style. But no, I'm really glad they got rid of Hugo Weaving for Infinity War, because he does not work at all in the movie.
You mean Endgame?
Huh? I mean, even Infinity War and Endgame both.
Yeah.
Nightfall is at the Soul Stone in Infinity War and in Endgame. He is there when Thanos pushes off Gamora, and he's there when Hawkeye and Black Widow get there.
Spoilers.
Oh, good. Give me a fucking break. We are almost, a year and a half, year and 4 months past Endgame's release? Get over yourselves. Guess what, guys? Tony Stark's Iron Man, he died. What have you been watching, Jake?
Sorry for all of this. Not just like a little bit, but like all of this. Okay, on to Jacob. I restarted watching Arrow in the Flash, and I have to say, I hate saying this because I loved Arrow at one point. The Flash is a little bit better.
You're in season 4, aren't you?
Yeah, we're still in season 3.
Oh man, you're getting into the bad stuff. Season 3, gotcha.
I actually, this is a bit of a spoiler for Arrow, but I actually don't mind. I'm going to be very vague about it for people who've never seen it before who could be interested in watching it. It's on Netflix. Quarantine. Why not? Give it a try. But where they take Laurel, I know a lot of people were very mad with this decision, Zachary being extremely included. I'm actually very much enjoying this storyline with Laurel. Yeah. Haha, on you. And it could be the fact that I really like her as this character later on.
Oh,
and so it might be the fact I knew where she was evolving to, because right now, she's getting a lot of people killed. But that happens.
But Flash is better.
Flash is just a little bit better. Their episodes are a little more concise. There's a little bit better of a storyline going in between them. And also, the Flash, just want to mention, does not have the flashbacks, which help it a lot.
What season are you on?
I'm still in season 1. I'm just continuing on where I left off. I can tell you, actually, because I'm on Netflix.
Has a certain thing happened with Cisco yet?
No, Zachary.
Because unlike Endgame, that one's universally seen. Arrow, Flash, not so much. Has a certain thing with Cisco doing this?
No, Zachary, stop it. No spoiler. Put your hand down. I am on supposedly the best episode out of the whole entire Flash series.
Okay. What's it called?
Out of Time.
What's the number?
I am time traveling.
No, what's the number of the episode?
15. I can here. A metahuman who can control the weather targets Joe to avenge the death of his brother. Cisco learns the truth about the Reverse Flash. Now, it might be Rogue Time. It's one of these. It's one of these two, okay? Rogue Time is the Flash travels back in time to prevent a tidal wave, but the time warp sparks another attack from Cap. One of these. It's supposedly
season 1?
Yeah, I'm season 1, episode 15.
Oh wait, no, never mind. No,
they're talking about time travel right now. Exactly.
No. Tidal Wave is the better episode of the two. Not the one you're about to watch. Really, really good. But Tidal Wave, really good.
Either way, I'm on episode 15 of that, and I'm also on episode. I'm assuming. No, I'm on episode 14 because we're going back and forth. So I'm watching episode 14, and then we'll be going into episode 15 type of thing of The Flash. So I've been watching that. I'm enjoying it very much. I really shouldn't be watching it this month. I was going to start in August when I was trying to read a book a month and writing and YouTube and just overworking myself to death. I was not going to bring an Arrow back into that because I don't have time, but I did. So that's fine. And then also I've been watching Charmed. If you did not know, I finished Gilmore Girls and I wasn't really sure what to do with my life. And so I went to Charmed. And I would say the
right Charmed, right? Not the wrong one. Yes, okay, thank you. Good. Just making sure.
And I would say the biggest shocking thing about Charmed is how much I love Prue Holloway.
Really?
Oh my God, I'm obsessed. and she's about to die.
Paige is always going to be my favorite.
No, I know. I cannot wait for Paige. But also, like, I'm getting kind of sad because, like, the first 3 seasons I blocked so much of my like I don't remember most of it. So I'm watching it. It's like rediscovering the TV show all over again. And
wait a minute, Paige isn't my favorite. It's the sister that married the light guy.
That's Piper.
Yes, Piper is my favorite.
Also pretty good.
I love Piper and Leo's story. That's why I like Piper so much.
Yeah, it's a little bit annoying right now because I'm assuming you don't remember most of the beginning of that story because it's a.
No, I do remember it takes a while to get to the good stuff.
It's
the demon right now.
No, Zachary, he doesn't show up until season 3. Yeah,
really?
I was shocked too. I was shocked.
I always remember us watching episode where he was just there, so I just assumed he was in our show. Really?
Yeah, exactly. We honestly didn't really like the beginning of this TV show. We liked the later on seasons.
Clearly. Really, it's after the Prue era happened.
Honestly, which is why I'm falling in love with Prue. Because Prue is just like, I know why you die, but like, why did you die?
Because she was a bitch on set, Jacob. That's why.
I know why, but we don't say that.
I have to take that back. I'm sorry. She's going through a lot right now. I want to take that back. I'm really sorry, Shannon.
Very mean.
I'm an avid fan. I'm sorry.
Very, very mean. She's doing a very good job. I'm very looking forward to Rose McGowan, though. Ironically, both ladies having a very rough time. What?
This shows how much I remember about the first 3 seasons. When does Kaylee Kuko show up? Not till the end, right?
Season 8, which is the final season.
Wow, I don't remember anything about the first half of this show.
Well, originally, Charmed was supposed to turn into like my sleeping show where I turn on to go to bed to.
Not the case.
And I've watched it all because I don't remember any of it. And so, honestly, when I say I'm looking forward to Paige showing up, I'm looking forward to sleeping when Paige shows up because I remember everything.
Buffy's competition back in the day, right? It was Charmed versus Buffy when they were on together.
No, they never actually aired on the same day. They were never actually competing, which is really interesting.
No, but that was like those are the 2 shows that kind of were on that kind of same like fighting demons and all that kind of stuff. That was the 2 shows. Okay.
Yeah, this Buffy and Angel were like what rolled the network at one point in time.
That's my show. That's my show of the 3. You know how much I love Angel. I love Angel. Yeah.
I hate Angel for a completely different reason than the actual TV show itself.
Is it because of him?
Yeah, it is because of him. And more and every single day, more and more stories come out, and it's getting me real nervous. And I have some very big theories that I cannot share because I don't know if they're real or not, and that's wrong because it has to do with personal lives and things with people just based on reactions and interviews I've now watched over again after all the things have come out. I don't
like the guy either. I try to separate him from the show. I like the show more because of what they do with Spike.
Yeah, honestly, you should look it up. It's quite sad.
Are we talking about both Angel and Spike, or are we just talking about Spike?
Spike, whole James Marsden being on the TV show at all, whole 9 yards. You should look it up.
Angel, then, right?
He is an angel. He's in the final.
You're not talking about Angel though, but the main character Angel. You're talking about the actor who played Spike, not the actor who played Angel, correct?
What do you mean?
Like you say, you have a problem with the actor who plays the character. You're talking.
I don't have a problem. I have a problem with the creator, Josh Whedon.
Okay, that I'm hearing about. Now I know what you're talking. Now we're on the same page. Because I thought I had a problem with anybody from the show.
I don't have a problem with the TV show. I have a problem with how they treated the actors on said TV show. That was my life.
This makes me really want to look into Avengers now because of Age of Ultron after hearing about it.
I have a lot of things not here to talk about because that's not our business to talk about.
But this also explains perfectly why Justice League is the way it is.
Oh yeah, totally. Otherwise, movie-wise, we watched The Old Guard here.
I watched the second time, by the way. Better the second time.
I am actually planning on rewatching it because I just read the book. Some very interesting changes. Nothing huge, but some very big ones at that.
Better in the book or the movie?
They changed the whole look of the villain. They made him more dirty.
Does he okay, fine. Does he look better in the book?
Yeah, he looks much more like a person who would. Also, oh my gosh, he does something so horrific that like it set him up as like a villain.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm willing to read them.
So once again, don't really prefer the graphic novel. I will definitely be reading the sequel when it comes out in September. But I didn't love it as much though. So
I love the movie.
And then we watched Scooby-Doo 2, which I'm here to say Scooby-Doo 2 is still amazing, and I still highly, highly recommend you check it out.
Which one do you prefer, 2 or 1?
Not even a question. Scooby-Doo 2 is all about the love you give to a franchise, to a character, to a group of people that you just adore. Scooby-Doo is all about shitting on that franchise that you thought you adored, but you really don't because you just took a big pile of shit on it. But Scooby-Doo 2, it's like you wipe that shit off, and now we have Masterpiece again.
How'd you watch Scooby-Doo 2?
HBO Max. It's on HBO.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can watch both of them.
Thank you for letting me know that. I might watch Scooby-Doo 2 tonight.
Highly recommend the sequel. Do not recommend the first
I love
one.
Monsters Unleashed. Monsters Unleashed. It's got my favorite scene between any two characters is when Scooby and Shaggy are trying the potions together, and Scooby goes all doctor like, "We have to make this concoction drink." No thanks, dude. I want to be this way forever.
Zachary, I promise you, when you rewatch that scene that you're talking about, it's gonna be a whole new light. The way they put Shaggy's head on a female body is so. I don't even know. Hold on. This is going off topic again. That's all I've watched. That's what I have been watching.
By the way, guys, we have crossed 2-hour mark again.
Yeah, it normally happens when we take a break, though.
It really wasn't a break. We didn't really talk yesterday about doing the show, and then we talked today.
No, like we did not do one last week.
Oh right, yeah, we didn't.
So I think that plays Shaggy chick. Not the only person who Googles this. Okay, so I want everybody to look at.
If you're a younger viewer, please look away.
Honestly, if you're any type of viewer, just look away.
Oh my heaven!
They when I say they CGI'd his head on a female body, they CGI'd his head on a female body.
Who do you think?
This is what you're talking about.
Oh, I love that so much.
Oh, like actual images from the movie. I'm not even joking. It's much more horrifying when he's moving.
Oh man.
And you'll get there. But don't let that be the factor though.
No.
Because it's not. I promise. That's just like one of those things. All right, Zachary, do you want to do the
of that movie is Velma. I hate what they do with her in that movie.
Oh my gosh. You also want to hear a huge little story here. So Velma obviously is a lesbian. Hi, proud, always knew. We had a whole conversation about it. She comes out as gay at the end of Scooby-Doo Incorporated. Mm-hmm. And then the creator of the character said at one point that she wasn't straight, and so everybody took it as bi, and he confirmed it being a lesbian. And everybody brought up this whole Shaggy storyline, and honestly, it's just all complicated. But ultimately, Shaggy was just, trying to figure out everything. A fate, not a fate, just trying to figure out everything. And then she falls in love with Velma from the movies and the TV show, and it's just like Velma sitting Velma, and it's like beautiful. Well, James Gunn, who wrote these, by the way, did not know if you knew that or not, who wrote these originally for Rated R, supposed to be completely Rated R, has a whole entire other meeting, whole 9 yards. Some of those elements continue to work through the scripts and stuff as you watch it, the Stoner Friends, that type of things, are a little bit more relevant, especially in the sequel.
Weren't they supposed to do a third one, technically? Wasn't there supposed to be a 3?
There was supposed to be a third one, but it did not do well. The sequel did not do well. They did not continue on. Cartoon Network made 2 sequels when they were teenagers, and then they just tried to rebrand it with Scoob this year, which was interesting. I enjoy it more and more as I rewatch it than I did the first time. But either way,
not for me.
So the person was like, hey, I think we should give Velma a love interest. Somebody working at Warner Brothers was like, hey, we should give Velma a love interest in the second Scooby-Doo movie. The first Scooby-Doo movie, she was doing things, but it didn't really go anywhere. Let's give her somebody else to play off of, or something like that. And James Gunn looked at him and laughed and said, you want me to give Velma a girlfriend? And they're like, no, we want you to give Velma a boyfriend. And they're like, no, Velma is a lesbian. I'm not giving her a boyfriend. That's what James Gunn said to the person he was talking to. And they're like, now you have to write her in a boyfriend, which is how Seth Green's character got involved in the whole movie, was the fact that he was pressured into giving her a love interest because they didn't like the fact of her being presentable as gay.
Oh, man.
I want to mention this is the third franchise I have found where this has happened. Pitch Perfect, High School Musical, which, oh my gosh, have you all the fan theories about High School Musical? And now Scooby-Doo, all hiding the queers.
Don't forget about SpongeBob.
Yeah, but SpongeBob was always a special character. He's up there. He's staying high.
Hey, Spongy!
He's way up there, but he's up there.
Well, guys, I think 205 is pretty good.
Yeah, I say so.
Okay.
All right. Well, Zachary's going to sing and dance, and I'm just going to,
You guys know what to do by this point. You know what to do, what to click, how to get to us, all that kind of fun stuff.
And once again, like I said, I will try to remember to link that video down below of Grace's so you guys can hear her full-fledged opinions and her views on what they do.
I didn't mention this at all during the show, but I just want to say it right now so we can link dump it. She did a great interview today with Zack Snyder for Justice League. You guys definitely should go watch that.
All right, Zachary, bring on some tunes.
As per usual,